Hey guys, Brian here from Thumper Fab. Today I'm going to walk you through the installation process of a roll cage on your Maverick R. With your factory cage and plastics removed, you're going to want to go ahead and jack up the unit. You're going to want to jack the bike up high enough so that it takes the load off your upper shock mounting bolts for the rear, as our cage comes with a support that strengthens up the shock mount. With the rear of your vehicle lifted up off the ground and most of the weight off your tires, you'll use a 21mm wrench and socket to remove your upper shock mounting bolt in the rear. You can remove both your shock bolts. They'll be replaced with bolts provided in the hardware kit. Next step in the installation process, you'll go ahead and install your billet grab handles. These are a new feature on our Maverick R roll cage. First, you'll slide your billet grab handle into position, then thread the 1/4 bolts up into the bottom of it, tightening up using a 9/64 Allen wrench. Before you put your cage up on your unit, you're going to want to install the body clips that are found on your factory cage over the rear mount plates that mount the plastic. You'll install these clips on both the outside and the inside of your rear mount brackets. The last step in preparing the cage for installation is you'll reinstall your factory piece that goes around the rear mount plate for the cage. You'll spread the plastic apart and slide it in between the B-pillar and your shock gusset through and over the rear mount plate. Once the plastic is into position, you're ready to grab some friends and install the cage on the unit. When installing your cage, you might need a friend to help you line up the shock mounts. You may need to raise or lower the jack to get the shock gussets to line up with the factory shock mounts. With the shock bolts replaced, you're going to want to pull this plastic piece back so you can gain access to the bolts that mount your B-pillar mount to the frame. With your plastic pulled back, you can slide your bolt through the hole, through the frame, tighten it up with the lock nut. You'll have 4 bolts on your B-pillar mount and your 2 bolts up front. You'll use all OEM hardware except for the bolt you replace on your shock mount for the rear. With all your bolts started, you can go ahead and go around the bike and tighten evenly. With your cage all tight, you can go ahead and mount your rear tube using your socket cap screws. Tighten it here before reinstalling your plastics. Once you have your rear tube securely fastened, you can go ahead and reinstall your plastic and button everything up. If you decide to go with the windshield option, we've provided knockouts in the cage that are laser cut so that you can come back with a punch, knock them out, and use our riv nut install tool to prepare for installing the windshield. You may need to file the hex hole to remove any burrs before installing your riv nut if the riv nut's too tight when you're trying to install it. To install the riv nuts into the roll cage, you'll thread your riv nut onto our riv nut install tool, slide it into the hex hole. You'll take a 9/16 wrench, hold the black portion tight where it can't spin, and you'll slowly tighten up the top bolt, which is a 7/16. Once you start to feel it get tight, you'll loosen up the hex bolt and remove the install tool, and it'll leave you finished with a threaded hole ready to install your windshield. To install your windshield on your Maverick R, you're going to remove the 4 front roof mounting bolts. Set them aside for reinstallation later. You'll place your windshield on the cage, slide it up under your roof, reinstall your 4 roof mounting bolts. Depending on your light bar solution you went with, you may have to remove your light bar to gain access to your front roof mounting bolts. Once all your bolts are fastened on both your windshield and your roof, you're ready to hit the trails.